Okay, so we've just started this new course, and we've seen what history is. History is the study of the past. Okay, we're studying time in history, things that happened for periods of time, in periods of time, at certain points in time. Everything has to do with time in some way, shape, or form. Um, but how can we organize the time that we're talking about? So one common way to organize time, at least for historians, is through timelines. Timelines are diagrams which show time and events in relation to each other. So they put events in the past in order so that we can see what came first, what came second, and so on. And these are one of the most common ways that historians organize time. You will see them a lot over the course of studying history. And to start off, here is an example. Okay, so this is a very simple timeline of my own life. So you can see I was born, I went to school, I went to university, I worked, and then I moved to Spain. And I ended the timeline there just to give it an endpoint rather than detail everything that I've done since I moved to Spain. And you can see that there's a couple of things to talk about here. Obviously I've coloured everything in different colours to differentiate different events or periods of time, so that it's clear. That's an important thing about timelines, is that they have to be clear and easy to read, because otherwise there's really no point in making one. And you can also see there's a couple of differences between the different areas of colour. So for example, when I was born, the purple there, that is one point, one moment, one line here on the timeline. That happened in one moment. I was born on one day. I wasn't born during a week or over the course of a year. It was one moment. And the same thing at the end there with moving to Spain. I moved to Spain rather on a single day. Whereas the others, they're longer or shorter, and that depends on how long they lasted. Okay, so how long an event or a period lasts is its duration. The amount of years, the amount of months, the amount of weeks, even the amount of minutes that something lasts is its duration. So the duration of this video will be a few minutes. The duration of the Roman Empire was a few thousand years. And you need to show that on the timeline. Events that lasted for longer periods of time, well, they need to be bigger on the timeline. So, for example, on this timeline, the biggest block is green. That's my schooling, and that took the longest time of everything that's there. It took a lot more years than university or work. You can also see which events came before or after the other events, okay? And the order that events come in, that's called succession, okay? So the succession on my timeline is very simple. I was born, I went to school, I went to university, I worked, and I moved to Spain, okay? One event after the other, okay? Now the other thing that you can see here is the idea of simultaneousness, okay? Now simultaneousness is a difficult word to spell, but it's basically the idea that events can happen at the same time. So, for example, I am recording this video. My girlfriend is cooking dinner. Okay, we're doing it at the same time. These two events are happening simultaneously. And for example, on this timeline, you can see that work and university happened simultaneously. I was in university studying when I started working, okay? Not for the first period of my university, which you can see here at the start of the red, but from my second year in university onwards, I worked as well as studying. So these two things happen simultaneously. So that's timelines, basically. They're very simple. They're a very useful way to organize the past. You'll see a lot of them, and I will show you some more in class. including a few famous timelines that categorize all of the periods of history. They show the succession of events, what came first, what came last, what happened in between, and in what order. They showed the duration of events. Was this one moment? Julius Caesar was assassinated on the 15th of March in the year 53 BC, or did it last for a long time? The Roman conquest of Hispania lasted for 200 years nearly. And they also show some events that happen simultaneously. So, for example, the conquest of Hispania happened at the same time as the civil wars that followed Julius Caesar's death, which led to the collapse of the Roman Republic. These two events happened partially simultaneously. So that's it for timelines. They're just a useful way of visualizing history and the past.